Hey athletes, I'm Hailey Herdman, former D1 basketball player, mental health therapist, and mental performance coach for athletes.
And I'm Naomi Yim, also former D1 basketball player, athlete mentor, and mental health advocate.
And we are the hosts of Mental Training Room. This is the space where athletes get real about the mental side of sport.
Whether you're on the court, field, or just figuring it all out, we've been there.
And we're bringing you the conversations we wish we had as athletes in hopes to help you become mentally elite.
Let's train the mind like we train the body. Welcome to the Mental Training Room.
So today's guest is Hailey Ra. She is a 4th degree black belt and multi-state champion in Pumse. For those who may not be familiar, Pumse is a series of prearranged movements in Taekwondo that combine precision, balance, power, and rhythm, testing not only an athlete's physical skill, but also their mental focus and discipline. Hailey earned female MVP at the 2018 Canada Open, and in 2024, she won a bronze medal at the Pan American Championships, representing Team USA. After that, Hailey went on to qualify for the World Poomsae Championships alongside her brother. In addition to her athletic career, Hailey was named one of the City University of New York's 50 Under 50 alumni, all while building a massive digital following, inspiring others through her passion for Taekwondo, family, and her Korean heritage. Hailey has dedicated herself to mastering Pumse at a high level, and along the way, she's faced the unique mental and motivational challenges that come with this demanding discipline. In this episode, she opens up about her journey, how sports psychology tools have shaped her training, and what athletes in all sports can learn from the mental side of martial arts.
Okay, so take me back to the very beginning on when you first stepped onto the mat. When was the first moment you thought okay, I could really do this?
It was, I think, probably my first nationals. Up until then, we were doing a lot of local competitions, and Taekwondo is not that big of a sport. So I was always going back and forth and kind of questioning my ability. Is it just that I haven't competed against everyone yet, and maybe it's my region that is just it's not as popular, therefore not as competitive. So I wasn't sure until I got to nationals, which is my biggest tournament ever at that point. It was my first time trying to compete in sports Pumse, and I made it to the final round, which I was not expecting at all. And the final round is the top 8 in Pumse. Yeah. So when I made it to finals, I was like, oh, this is a pretty good I think that was the moment. Yeah.
Okay, so when you went, well, can you give a little background to the audience? Because I know, and I don't know if your parents still do this, but my mom told me that your parents ran a Taekwondo school.
Yeah, they still do.
Is that kind of how you got into it?
I did, yeah. So we moved from LA to Rochester. And Rochester is where my dad started our martial arts school. And we primarily teach Taekwondo. When he opened it, it was no questions. Me and my brothers were just in it because there's no after school care. We're just gonna be there because that's where they're at. So I've been doing it since I was 5. And my brothers have been they've been around it literally since they've been born. So yeah, that's how our family has just been tied to martial arts. It's our life.
I know, for me, because both my parents are Korean, but they're a little bit more understanding of our generation, the mental side of things. Was that something that your parents talked about, or especially going into nationals? What was the advice mentally that they gave you, or if not at all, and if you learned that on your own?
Yeah. Is I think my dad's because he grew up in LA too. He's definitely more Americanized, and he's competed also when he was younger in Taekwondo, so he knows. But in terms of mental coaching they gave to me, I think the biggest thing he continued to remind me was just trust in the preparation that you've done, which was great. But it was my first time competing at a higher level, and it was also his first time coaching, and also it's I'm his kid, so naturally it's gonna add a whole nother level of even though he doesn't want to be nervous, he's going to be more nervous. I'm sure having family members compete or do events, it's just I feel I get more nervous watching my brothers compete than when I compete.
Seriously, I sweat.
No, like I don't know why, but maybe it's just because I don't have control over the
Yeah.
situation. I just gotta like trust that they're gonna do it. Um, but yeah, they were very reassuring, like super supportive, like we're here. But like sometimes I could feel his nerves, and I'm like, you're freaking me out.
Over there.
Yeah, yeah. So a lot of that, but martial arts is super strong in like character building, like, persevere, be confident. So those messages rather than like it just being at the competition were things that were like constantly drilled into us when we were training. And I think that really carried through when we competed as well.
Oh, yeah. So, do you have any practices and rituals that you use during practicing and prepping for the nationals that you carried on over to nationals?
In terms of like mental, or I think it's always like train and practice like I'm competing
Right.
and then compete like it's just practice. I think it was really difficult for me early on as an athlete because I was still getting so used to the pressure. And I made so many mistakes because of it. Like I came so close, but then it's like, oh, this is determining gold and silver, and then I choke because I'm not used to feeling that kind of weight when I needed to perform. So definitely when I'm practicing, not taking it lightly, imagining and kind of creating that atmosphere of make this my best one and continue to make each rep the best that I could do it. So that way muscle memory is for me just to perform the best that I can.
So, do you feel like at nationals that was kind of the biggest challenge that you faced mentally is like that pressure of, okay, it's either gold, silver, or bronze, and I don't want to fall anywhere in between. Do you feel like that was the biggest pressure for you?
Yeah, definitely. Like the pathways to becoming a national team member, they've refined it. So it has changed in the recent years, but basically you have to win gold if you want to be a national team member. So it's only that one spot. It's very competitive. So when it came down to the metal color is very, very like important. So there was a lot of pressure.
Yeah, you gotta be one of one, literally.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, so experiencing nationals and having that pressure of it's gold or nothing. Did you ever mentally pull back from the sport?
For sure. I think for sure. Because I think every sport, once you get to that high of a level, it's not just about your performance. There's so many things behind the scenes. And unfortunately, and fortunately, I think there's a lot of positive aspects about Korean culture that are brought into the community, the Taekwondo community, but that also comes with like the cons as well. I'm sure you know, coming from a Korean like
Yeah.
American household and not even that, just the culture. And it could be really toxic. So it's not just, okay, I need to win this and this and this. There's so many other things at play, which makes it even more difficult.
I agree. I feel like, and it's like a joke, but not, but Korean people are very judgmental. Like,
Oh,
especially
so judgmental.
is so judgmental in like every aspect, things that you don't even think about, and they point it out and they'll say it to you. So I
Yes.
definitely understand that aspect of it.
Yeah, and it's exhausting. So it definitely was a point where I took a step back and was just like, why do I want to be here? Like
Right.
this is
Right.
it worth it? Because it's not a mainstream sport. There really are no like collegiate pathways, or because my events, which is the Pumse and the freestyle Pumse, aren't in the Olympics, we don't get much support from the organization either. Like we pay our way for all of these competitions. We are flying ourselves out, and for even the ones that we are representing the US at, it's all coming out of our pocket.
Wow.
Yeah.
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 So, with that playing such a big part, is there a reason why you chose those two events and not the events that are put into the Olympics and things like that?
Yeah, so why did I pick Poomsae over sparring?
Yeah.
I did both. I competed in both when I first started. Like, short answer, the training is just so different. You kind of have to pick one or the other. Now, there are athletes who do both, and I think that they're incredible. Like, to be able to do both. And I think I've always just liked Pumse better.
Mm.
And I was also just better at it. My brothers were actually sparring athletes for a little while longer than I was. And then they both switched over to freestyle. But a thing that we had to come to terms with is sparring. Taekwondo sparring it's very advantageous if you're tall and you have longer limbs. And God just didn't make us that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were definitely a lot better at doing forms than we were at sparring. Even though if Luke and Matthew had the choice, they probably would have loved to be fighters.
It's okay. Dreams come true at some point.
Exactly.
Okay, so what's something people that don't know a lot about Taekwondo that they don't see behind the scenes of the biggest mental tolls or battles that you guys face?
I think unlike team sports,
Mm,
Taekwondo, I mean, there are teams, but it's a pretty individual sport. That's where you can do it with like a partner.
right.
Um, that's what I do with Matthew, my brother.
Mhm.
There are events where you can do it as a team because it's not very big. It's very individualistic and it's also based on your own skill. Like if you want to be paired well, if you want to find a good team that wants to bring you in. So it's a lot of pressure, I think, on each individual athlete. I'm sure something that everyone faces in every
Right.
sport. But Taekwondo specifically, I think the golden time is like always like, leading up to college, like you want to get it on your apps or whatever for your application. That is like extremely intense. Also with the dozens of Korean masters like watching you at every competition and like critiquing everything that you do and yeah, I think it's a lot to learn how you have to learn how to block out the noise, but that's really hard when you're like in high school or even a young adult, like because you want to succeed. So yeah.
So leading up, like you said, to college and getting ready for that preparation for college, did you ever think like, okay, I'm just gonna go to college, I'm gonna kind of leave Taekwondo behind? Yeah.
Yes, totally. I actually stopped competing after was it 2023? I was like, I'm done. Like I've had my run because I came so close to going to Worlds in 2022, which I really wanted so badly because they were holding it in Korea and it just didn't work out again. It was like, and I'm so exhausted. I just don't have anything left in the tank. And like, I'm living in New York City now. Like, maybe it's time for me to now focus my energy into something that I'm actually going to get something out of. So, totally, yes.
So now that you've gone through college, how is that experience like? Because you still competed while you were in college, right?
And now I'm back.
How did you come back?
Like, I'm working a full-time corporate job and I'm still competing. So, Um, I think taking a step away from it was definitely needed. I think it's really hard to take care of yourself and also just like get even footing again to even be productive with training and competing if you don't have that time. And I definitely never did. Once I started competing, it was just heads down. I was in it for those few years and it was a lot, mentally, especially, and emotionally. Um, because I work so closely with my coaches, just a lot of really knowledgeable and very skilled coaches, but not very mature people. Yeah, so like I needed that time just to like recover, not just physically, all
Right,
aspects.
yourself.
And then not doing it, I was actually really content because it gave me a time to reflect and be like, wow, like I didn't give myself as much credit as I should have. Like, whoa, like I'm watching like the live streams of the competitions that are happening. I'm not there, but like, oh, whoa, like I used to do that and kind of just pull myself out, which was super healing. And I think that's what really recharged me. Because when my brother asked for me to come back and do pair with him, I finally felt like I was in a place where it's like, okay, I could do this and not get burnt out and not feel like I want to die doing this for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like you stepped into it differently from what you were doing before mentally and then going into it with your brother at that separation space?
I think now used to my result was like directly correlated with my self-value and my self-esteem. So if I didn't do well, I am not worth it. like I'm not right, which is I think especially women struggle with a lot.
Mhm.
I think guys, I mean,
They're
I
like,
was
oh,
technically surrounded by guys. Oh, something was wrong with the
yeah.
game this time. Something was,
Always with
which
that.
is which is true,
Yeah.
but especially women, I think we really struggle with that self-worth and hearing that voice and like also being in the face of competition all the time was so hard. But that break made me realize like, hey, like, okay, I didn't achieve this, but I did make it this far. And that's like pretty cool. And I should be proud of myself for that. And also help me detach myself from my achievements. So now that I'm doing that, and I went back also because like I love it. I'm so passionate about it. Like it's what we've done our entire life. Was there a season that I hated Taekwondo? Oh, for sure. But don't we all
It
have the season
happens.
where we like hate the sport just because it's so much. But yeah, the main shift is I'm doing it because I just love to do it and I'm not placing my self-value on my title or the result and just enjoying the process.
Yeah. And so I feel like a lot of athletes who do listen to our podcast, they normally are in the sport in college. What advice would you give them to, if they can't take that step back and, separate themselves? What would your advice be to help them like separate their identity from their sport while they're in the sport? Like what you
Mm.
do now that you've experienced the other side of it.
Hey athletes, it's Hailey Herdman, host of Mental Training Room. Also, mental performance coach and mental health therapist. If you're listening to this, I know you're putting the work into your physical game. But what are you doing for your mental game? That's where I come in. I work with athletes, teams, and parents to build confidence, handle pressure, and develop the mindset it takes to perform at your best and be considered mentally elite. Whether it's through one-on-one coaching, team sessions, or parent workshops, I'm here to help you train the mind like you train your body. Want to work together? Reach out on Instagram at mtr.pod or visit haileyherdman.com to get started.
That's a super good question. I think, I mean, it's really hard because you need time.
Yeah.
Like when you're training and you're on a schedule, like you literally,
You're
they
on a
don't give you
scholarship.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I feel like it's really hard to not be consumed by it. For me, what really helped was I I started documenting and posting on socials.
Mm.
For me, that was like not because I wanted to accrue a following, but it was a way for me to reframe what I was doing in a way that felt like it was my own. Like, so like posting on Instagram and TikTok for me was just like an outlet. And that might not be for everyone. Like some people don't want to be perceived. I don't know, but I think if you want to be able to do it sustainably, you need to make sure that you're okay. And whatever that looks like, whether that's like meditation. For me, that's also being prayerful and intentional about my walk with God and like focusing myself and centering myself on what I know is my foundation. So that way I don't get lost in everything else that's going around me. Because if you're not good, how can you expect anything else around you to be good?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that,
easier said than done.
yeah, exactly. We could say it now and give the advice, but you don't really experience it or understand the differences until you actually go through it. But I
Yeah.
think that example you gave was so good because that's kind of what me and Haley used to do when we were in college. We would just go work out, but do the workout that we wanted to do and not
Yeah.
what everyone was telling us or, the program that we were given or the workouts that our coach made us go through. Like we would just go to the gym and just do what we wanted to do. And it was a good separation of just feeling control and that we had control a little bit in our lives,
Yeah.
even though we kind of really didn't. But that is a great example. I know you said that you started to post on social media a lot and
Hmm.
do have a large, large following. And so, with that journey, has there been a lot of negatives coming out of it, or is it just complete positivity and support?
It's definitely been the latter, which I'm very thankful for. Don't take for granted. Yeah, like I think everyone was on TikTok and Instagram during COVID. I'm no exception. So Like
Being humble.
I was just, yeah, no, but genuinely, it was just me having fun. We were doing like Taekwondo videos just because that's what we like and sharing our life that way. But it's been immensely positive, which I'm very grateful for. And it's also helped me to connect with younger Taekwondo athletes, which is awesome. Like whenever I go to competitions, I will get to meet like these new
Oh,
athletes, like these youth athletes and grassroots athletes who are like, oh, I've seen your videos. And I love that they're all like little girls. My audience. And it's just super encouraging to know that like, oh, people see my videos and it makes them more motivated or it makes them more encouraged as well. Yes, I think we are that for each other. It's definitely not that I don't feel like that's what I'm providing them at all, but when I see their interactions or I get to meet them, I'm even more encouraged, even more like humble to be honest, because I'm like, I'm
oh.
just here doing my silly old little thing.
Yeah, I feel like I've experienced that a little bit through my brother, Anthony, and he's been getting like so much love from the Korean community that's in CrossFit. And so I
That's
can
amazing.
only imagine how much love you get and like how much encouragement that they give you because they're so sweet.
Granted, it's the internet, so like of trolls, but like put out good energy and those are the people you're gonna attract as well.
Exactly. So, last two questions. What's one adversity or failure that ended up being kind of one of the biggest mental training lessons for you?
Good one.
Really?
I know literally all of it, but not.
Maybe if it could be tailored to an athlete that's kind of transitioning from college to kind of what the real world is and like the lessons you've learned from your sport and what you're using to apply to life.
This episode is sponsored by Defend USA, performance and recovery apparel designed for athletes who know that the mental and physical recovery go hand in hand. Defend's graduated compression technology enhances performance by improving circulation, reducing muscle fatigue, and increasing endurance during workouts. Designed for athletes of all levels, it also supports faster recovery by minimizing soreness and promoting better post-training blood flow. Just like we train the mind, we have to take care of the body. And Defend helps you do both. Check them out at dfndusa.com and use code MTR10 for 10% off. Train hard, recover smarter, perform stronger with Defend USA.
I think the shift from college to post grad was I don't have to do this anymore if I don't want to. That was incredibly freeing.
Yes.
Like I think some people like maybe some people feel like it's sad because it's such a big part of your identity,
Yeah.
but it's also freeing. I have the choice.
Yeah.
Like I'm not on a scholarship anymore for some of these athletes. Like I don't have to work this hard to this next step, right? Like once you're unless that's what you want. But now it's like you do regain that control. So yeah, I definitely resonated with what you were saying about not feeling like I had any control while I was an athlete. Um, Especially when you have coaches and other voices constantly telling you what you should think and what you should be doing and that you're not doing enough and you need to be better. All things that, hopefully are coming from a positive place of wanting you to succeed and wanting you to win, but it's a lot to continue to, it like brings you down, even though it's meant to bring you up. So yeah, I think my biggest lesson from that shift was like, I will get out of it whatever I put into it. And if I don't want to put a lot into it, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's so okay.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that I'm a failure or that am not good enough. Like definitely brought me out of attaching my self-worth so closely to
Yeah.
the sport and who I was as an athlete. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of athletes have such a hard time with that transition because their identity is so attached to this sport that they've played for so long, which is 100% understandable. But like you said, that perspective switch of understanding, like, I have control now, and this is my life, these are my decisions, and what I want to do is what's best for me. And That's something I feel like a lot of athletes don't understand before leaving college. And so, yeah.
For sure. And I think it's also like you may not be as involved with the sport, but everything that it's taught you is still going to be with you. Like you're still going to be like, just because you're not playing and doing the sport anymore doesn't mean you lose anything. Like you're still walking away with all of the characteristics and the values that it's instilled in you. And that's, I think, gonna make you like, I think athletes are like
Yeah.
they're amazing. Like the things that you have to go through, the discipline and all of that. So you're not losing that. I think that was a big lesson learned for me as well.
Yeah. So if you could go back to your younger self, what mental advice would you give yourself?
Nobody cares as much as you do.
Oh,
Because I think I was so worried about how others would perceive me.
yeah.
Nobody cares as much as you do. Just focus on you. And if you're happy and you feel good about it, then that's all that you should. I place too much value on the way I'd be perceived by coaches and other teams and other athletes. I was not having a good time, and it really affected my self-esteem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just like, oh my gosh, so cliche, but have fun. It was so much easier said than done, but like you started it because you loved it and it's helping you improve yourself, then like enjoy the process. Don't make it something so like grueling and negative. Like stay positive and like, enjoy it, have fun and tune out the noise.
Last question, sorry.
Thank
From like thinking back in the moments before you took that break, when you were having a hard time, like with the outside noise, the judgment, the overthinking, what is something that you would do in that moment to kind of place yourself in a different like flow state of understanding like, okay, I'm doing great. What I'm doing right now is the best that I can do. And like something like that. Like, what would you do in that moment now, looking back?
Definitely positive self-talk. For me, it was I left the area of the ring. Like if I wasn't on deck, like I'm going to a quiet corner and taking a moment with myself. And a lot of just, positive self-talk and breathing exercise. And for me, it was prayer. Like before competing, like that is how I stabilize myself. I am just, and having gratitude. I'm just so grateful to have the opportunity to do this,
Right.
regardless of the result.
Yeah.
Because the result is something that I always like clung on to too hard. Just completely surrendering that. Because at that point, like, what can I do? Like, I'm like, I'm next, right? Like, there's no drill or magic,
Yeah.
thing that's gonna happen that's gonna make me any better. So just letting it go and reaffirming that like the preparation I've put in, like this is good, and I'm just thankful. Yeah, was helpful.
One thing that a sports psychologist told us in one of our podcasts that really, really stuck with me is that taking like athletes put so much on the result and the end result and wanting that end result, but you have to understand that the result is always has to be adjustable. And the focus is the process and the progress. And the result is adjustable. Whatever that outcome is. So that's something that always stuck with me when she told us that.
That's fire.
Because you're still competing, you can use that.
That's fire. That's fire. I'm gonna be, what I'm gonna be thinking like before my next come.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this amazing combo and kind of giving us insight on the Taekwondo world because I know a lot of people don't know about it, but I do feel like, and my dad also is a black belt from Korea.
Yeah.
But that's all I really knew about it. But he was like, yeah, the mental side is really big in the sport. So
It is, yeah. As a martial art, for sure. I think they do a lot to help prep, which is good. Once you bring competition into it, I'm sure every athlete, like more or less, we all experience the same things. So yeah, we're in it together.
That's it for today in the mental training room.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at mtr.pod to stay up to date with all things mental training.